Hi guys, Andrew here. I've had a ton of questions, especially since I've crossed 20,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. And I'm getting to the point where it's really hard for me to give proper responses in comments or in Instagram posts or etc. So what I want to do is create a new playlist where I'm regularly answering your questions. So this is the first episode of Questions and Answers with Andrew at 555 Gear. I'm going to keep it real casual by just having a beer with you on my porch here. Today I'm drinking Liney Sunset Wheat. I'll be probably enjoying cold ones with you as I go through these question and answers in the future. So let's get right into it. Okay, the first question I have is from The Missing 8, and he asks me, have I ever checked out Chippewa boots? Thanks a lot for your question. I definitely have checked out Chippewa boots. There's a retailer in Dubuque near where I live. They're very high quality boots. The standards of construction are excellent. They often are using imported leathers, but the truth is that a lot of times the leathers from the tanneries that they're getting are outstanding. So I definitely recommend Chippewa boots if you're looking for a more affordable alternative to Red Wing Heritage boots, but basically the same level of quality of construction. I do intend to feature them on my channel at some point. Honestly, their boot styles are very similar to boots that I already own, so I'm not really in a hurry to own them personally, but I'm very happy to recommend them, and having checked them out many times in person, I can tell you that I think they're really well made. Okay, the next question is from Nakaka Taco. I'm not going to try saying it. Why do some Red Wing boots have a stamp logo on the side and other Red Wing boots don't? Well, pretty simple. It just is based on whether it's in the original design heritage or not. So for example, the 10877 Red Wings do have a brand on the side because they're not trying to represent a historic model. They're an update. Whereas the 877s in the heritage line definitely do have that traditional non-stamped look on the side of the boots. It's just more of a heritage feature. I think it looks a little cleaner without the stamp, but on the other hand, it is cool to see that old school branding as well. Okay, next question. Berserker0758 asks, I'm looking for an almost silent wristwatch with a small display similar to the Timex Expedition Scout for under $45. Can anyone help me out? Well, right under $45 is a pretty hard number to find a new automatic watch. If you're willing to stretch even $10 more, you start getting into some options. The first watch that comes to mind is any of Seiko's SNK series of watches. Another example that maybe is a little more overlooked is the Vostok Amphibious series. This is Russia's most iconic dive watch. And so if you're looking for a watch that's going to be very waterproof and also kind of cool, more eccentric maybe, then this is a watch that I would recommend. I also know that there's a bunch of entry-level Orients that are automatics under $50, but I'm just not as familiar with those models, so maybe you could weigh in on the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Edge Observer asks, so am I liking the digital SLR? Well, Andrew, thanks a lot for asking. I'm definitely enjoying the digital SLR, and it's a real ongoing challenge, just trying to operate everything manually in video mode and try to create shots that fit the style of lenses that I'm using with a very wide aperture. Also trying to implement different pans and tilts and video techniques into my shots, especially of products. It's been really interesting and exciting for me to learn about. If anyone has advice or tips for me, I always am happy to hear about it. Make sure to comment or shoot me an email, which is linked in my description page. Next question, Bradley Morris asked me, where is a good place to get a good quality leather strap for a good price? Thanks. Well, thanks, Bradley, for all your questions. You're a great subscriber. For me, there's a few places that are my go-to places. Recently, I've been really happy with my Wrist Candy Watch Club straps, and they have some pretty nice straps for $35. For the longest amount of time, though, I bought straps from Panatime.com, and their prices have gone up a little bit over the years, but I've had straps of theirs for nearly 5 years, and they're really high-quality straps. I also really like Crown and Buckle straps. They have great pictures and descriptions of their straps on their website. Really nice straps and quite a variety of colors and materials. Personally, though, I do think that it's worthwhile to spend a little bit more on straps if you're able to. Truth is you might have some of your straps longer than your watches if you're like me. Vadim, the Sand Chores Man, asks me, Was this Rolex a copy? And that was the Rolex Explorer used in one of my comparison videos. I completely detest replica watches. You'll never see them on this channel, and I would never feature one in a video without disclosing it, moreover. So the whole idea of having a replica watch is totally in bad taste, in my opinion, and it's also not something you'll ever see on this channel. There was an anti-replica campaign a few years ago basically saying that fake people buy fake watches, and I think that's absolutely true. Be honest about the watches that you have. Be proud of the watches that you have. There's good watches at every price range. There's no need to basically play into the whole brand snob thing. If we want to be honest about our enjoyment of horology, we just need to own up to the watches we can realistically afford. And the good news is that there's actually great watches at every price range, so you shouldn't be embarrassed about buying a decent $100 watch. There are tons of them, and I featured them on my channel a number of times. Don't be embarrassed about that. Okay, next question. Gear Sprockets and Elbow Grease asks, what kind of jeans do I recommend to be worn casually with the boots? And he's referring to my Red Wing 8138, so heritage boots. Well, I'll tell you that for me, I've been very interested in Selvedge Denim lately. And it's not just because it's stylish or whatever, but it's actually because they use higher quality materials and generally tend to put more effort into the construction of the jeans. I'm definitely going to be doing some videos on them in the future. I think that heritage boots with heritage woven denim using heritage techniques sort of makes sense to me. And I think it happens to look really good too. M. Putra asked me, what is my wrist measurement? I have a 6.5 inch wrist. Do you think the Seiko Sumo is going to wear big? Well, short answer is, yeah, it probably will wear big. The Seiko Sumo definitely wears big. Now, it is a very ergonomic case, as I described in my review of that watch, but it's nevertheless a large watch. I have a 7.25 inch wrist, and for me, that gives a ton of flexibility. I love wearing watches down to 34 millimeters. I have no problem wearing those kinds of watches. But I do wear watches up to about 44 millimeters and definitely enjoy some of those chunkier divers too. Everyone's wrist ergonomics vary, and that's the kind of thing that you're just going to have to find out what works for you. Next question. Stuart Murray asked me, quick question, is this EDC concept solely an American thing? I don't know anyone over here that carries more than their wallet, phone, and keys. So I'm assuming he's English or European. Well, guys, weigh in the comments below and let me know if you know of the EDC trends overseas. I'd love to hear about it. My experience is, of course, limited to my locale and what I hear about online through various social media. I think that it's definitely very popular here, especially in America. I know even with the legal constraints in Europe, there are very high quality and historic knife manufacturers and all kinds of knives that are available for the specifically European market. But as far as the popularity of the EDC culture over there, I just don't know as much about it. So let me know in the comments below what you think about that. Next comment, Joseph Schiavo says, this is off topic, but what do I think of the reissue of the Seiko Turtle? Well, I totally love the Seiko Turtle. I think it's a huge win for Seiko. The Turtle for me represents a number of excellent things for Seiko, improving movements but retaining a lot of heritage themes. The only reason why I haven't gotten a Turtle right now is because I'm kind of trying to decide if I want to spend money on some little bit higher end divers that I've had my eye on for a while. Specifically, I'm thinking of the Oris 65 or the Tudor Black Bay, especially the Black Bay Reds. The prices have just completely dropped since the Black Bay Black have come out. So the idea of getting a Black Bay for under $2,000 seems pretty lucrative to me. Turtle has awesome design. You have a few different colorways that I love, and it's definitely going to be a legit diver at $350 or so. Compared to a lot of the boutique offerings at that price, you're definitely getting something with a very proven design lineage. And of course, Seiko's divers tend to hold their value pretty well. I expect it to be a watch that you'd be able to enjoy for decades. I would have bought one immediately if it didn't seem already pretty similar to my SKX 009, but I have a feeling that side by side they would actually seem pretty different. It's one that I'd be happy to find in my collection someday. Okay, next question. An idea called Freedom asks, how do I prevent my insoles in heritage boots from cracking from sweat and use? Great question. I generally wear very absorbent socks, cotton socks or wool socks, and then I make sure my boots are unlaced when I'm done wearing them. Another viewer, Rob060, comments, use shoe trees to help absorb moisture. That's really a great comment. Shoe trees are definitely something that I own and use, especially on shoes that I'm concerned about moisture control, but honestly, my feet just don't sweat so much that it's an absolute issue. But combination of loosening your boots, airing them out, and using shoe trees is probably a very solid combination. Stock Market 101 asks, what's my new EDC? Do you have a version of your EDC for people on a budget like a college student? Thanks a lot for your question, and good for you for thinking about your gear when you're in college. My experience in college when I was on the move was that I didn't want to carry anything that was too expensive just because it's very easy to lose things. I lost more knives in college than I have the rest of my life combined. So I would recommend getting your gear just at a local sporting goods store. You could find very solid offerings from CRKT or Kershaw or maybe even Benchmade. Some flashlight brands that I like are Phoenix, 47s, Surefire, and I've been pretty happy with my EagleTac lights so far. There are tons of single cell flashlights on the market that would be really handy to keep on a keychain. Flashlight that I enjoy the most though for EDC is the Prometheus Beta QR. This is a flashlight that has a really slick attachment system for a keychain, so you can take it on and off of a keychain really well. It has very solid settings. It has a nice emitter. If you can't afford the Beta QR, then I would recommend probably the EagleTac DC25 AAA. It's just a good, affordable, powerful little flashlight. Another thing that I recommend for college is a good multi-tool, and I would definitely recommend Leatherman in that regard. Although, of course, you know, I love Swiss Army, so a good multi-tool from Victorinox is a great idea. As far as pens go, Bokeh Plus makes plenty of good EDC pens, but honestly, I think I carried a Parker Jotter through most of my college years and lost just about as many as I carried. Prep for It, who's a great subscriber, asked me, what are some of my best or favorite methods and products to treat and protect my leather, boots, or metal gear? Thanks. Well, thanks a lot for the question, Prep for It. I enjoy your questions and your frequent comments on my videos. Thanks a lot. Let's go through each of those. For leather boots, I really recommend Red Wings products. I have a Red Wing conditioner that really works well with all of my heritage boots, as well as most of my leather shoes. I really like that. If I need to repolish, honestly, I still use Kiwi products. They're really cheap. You can get them at most stores, and they work for me. I haven't felt the need to invest in more expensive polishes or more expensive conditioners. It just isn't important. I've also done videos on how I waterproof my boots with Snow Seal, so that's something that I'll make sure to link in the description below. You can just check it out. As far as metal gear, I pretty much keep my knives and multi-tools lubricated with Hops 9. If there's any concerns about rust in my firearms, I also use Hops number 9. And if I need to polish something, I'll generally use a Cape Cod cloth. I have done some more in-depth videos about refinishing metal surfaces that I'll also link below. All right, guys, that was fun. I just want to invite everyone to check out my Facebook page. Right now, it's just a little community, about 300 people, but I have a little bit more fun there, sharing memes and jokes and kind of giving some behind the scenes. If you haven't checked out my Facebook page, I want to invite you to check it out. Of course, check out my Instagram as well. The Instagram page is mostly EDC pocket dumps, but I also do products that I'm going to be reviewing in the future, so it's another great way to keep up on what I'm working on. I want to thank everyone for their great questions. I intend to do this probably about once a month, so if you have questions that didn't get answered here, make sure to comment below. And as always, thanks a lot for your time.